Testing, testing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Litteraturhuset on this very pleasant afternoon in Oslo. My name's Mark Curtis. I'm from the UK. I'm the moderator today that's going to rule over the panel and the speakers with an iron fist. The event today is very important, and I'm pleased to see so many people here. It's been organized by the Social Critical Thinking Laboratorium, which is a new think tank based in Oslo that works on social and political issues, environmental protection, political injustice, economic exploitation. And to particularly mention the 6 major funders of the event today who are up on the screen before you. And what this event is today is about the Norwegian government's pension fund, which is actually your pension fund, in that this is taxpayers' money, and where it should and is being invested. And about the US corporation Monsanto, which, as many people will know, is one of the largest agribusiness corporations in the world. And overall, the Norwegian pension fund is worth 2.6 trillion kroner at the last count, which is around $450 billion, which, to put it in some kind of perspective, is about half the entire GDP of sub-Saharan Africa. And of that money, around 2.8 billion kroner is invested in Monsanto, which amounts to around $470 million. Now, there is increasing debate in Norway and internationally about the ethics of Norway's investments. And Monsanto is a hugely controversial company. It's the world's leading producer of genetically engineered, genetically modified seed. And it's been accused by various organizations over a long period of time of issues to do with the promotion of child labor, of bribery, of environmental pollution, and of harming small farmers, particularly due to its development of GM technology. Now, 3 years ago, the Council on Ethics of the Norwegian Pension Fund recommended to the Norwegian government that the pension fund divest from Monsanto due to the company's promotion of child labor in India. The government decided not to divest, arguing that it would be better to use the investment to improve the company's behavior, the company's activities. Many of you will know this, and you'll have seen it in one of the films that was shown earlier. But the Council on Ethics is now looking again into Monsanto, and this is very much an ongoing issue. And the issue for us today is it ethical for the Norwegian government and the Norwegian Pension Fund to be investing in Monsanto? And to begin, we're very privileged and excited to have with us today Vandana Shiva, who really needs no introduction, but whenever anyone says that, they always proceed to introduce someone. She is, as most of you will know, one of the world's leading voices for alternative development. A world-renowned thinker and activist, campaigner on environmental and agricultural issues. Vandana is the recipient of the Right Livelihood Award, which is sometimes referred to as the Alternative Nobel Prize. And she's one of the leaders of the International Forum on Globalization. She's the founder of a national movement in India that protects farmers' rights and biodiversity called Navdanya, which means 9 crops, based on the major crops that provide food security for India's farmers. And she's also the author of an incredibly large number of books and articles, which personally I'm very jealous of. I'm now going to invite Vandana to speak for around 35-40 minutes or so, and then there'll be an opportunity for questions and comments. So please welcome Vandana Shiva.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Socrith. Thank you, old friends from old organizations. It's nice to be back in Oslo. It's particularly good to be able to reflect on the ethical issues related to the Norwegian public's money in Monsanto. The ethical guidelines focus a lot on violation of law. But there are two other issues related to ethics that I think are very, very important. And that is creation of law that is a violation of human justice and sustainability, when you have the kind of power that Monsanto has. And the third, extremely important, is the subversion of law. Again, through undue influence, through corruption. So let me begin with the creation of unjust law. It begins in the 1970s through a creation of a group called the Intellectual Property Committee, of which Monsanto had an important role. And it was finalized in the World Trade Organization rules for intellectual property. The agreement is called the Trade-Related Intellectual Property Rights Agreement. Article 27(3)(b) of this agreement literally forces countries to impose patents on life forms, something most countries have not had. In fact, many countries deliberately excluded life forms. And my country in particular, India, excluded agriculture from the area of patenting because of its centrality to the livelihoods of the poor. And life forms have been excluded in all patent law because life does not get invented. But Monsanto has changed that law and has turned life itself into its invention. As soon as the WTO agreement came into force in 1995, one of the representatives of Monsanto, in a meeting in Washington, D.C., said that in getting this law, we have achieved something unprecedented. We were the patient, we were the diagnostician, and we were the physician all in one. We defined a problem, and the problem was that farmers saved seeds. And we offered a solution to create intellectual property laws that make it illegal for farmers to save seeds. This, in my view, is a subversion of one of the most fundamental laws of agriculture and ecology, that you must save seeds. So in fact, in India, as soon as WTO came into force, and even before, when the GATT was being negotiated and the Dunkel draft, as it was called, was out, we started following Gandhi, the seed satyagraha. Gandhi's word, satyagraha, means the fight for truth. And you might recall that when the British wanted to monopolize salt, Gandhi walked to the beach, picked up the salt water, said, nature gives this salt for free, we need it for our survival, we will continue to make salt, we will not obey your law. And in fact, the very creation of the movement, 9 Seeds in Navdanya, is based on upholding the higher law of the ecological duty to save seeds and exchange seeds, to save seeds for the